What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Happy fake fall. If you live in the Northeast Ohio region, it is what we call fake fall around here. It was in the 40s when I woke up this morning. High of the low 60s today and tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Perfect. First full weekend of NFL football weather. I know people love their warm weather out west, down south. Give me a cool, crisp morning. Maybe see your breath a little bit, maybe not even necessarily, but a nice 3/4 zip, and I am ready to attack the day. It's fake though, because it's only for these 2 days, and then we're back into the 80s again next week. But I will take it for the first weekend of football. And what a crazy first 2 games we have had in the NFL, and we are already seeing price movements just based off those 2 games. Jordan Love, one of the young top flight quarterbacks, is already injured with an MCL sprain. I am recording this early Saturday or mid Saturday afternoon. That news just came out. We also have the Dallas Card Show going on this weekend. Hobby's biggest unsolved mystery still remains: what happened to the Dallas Card Show thieves? No news, updates, nothing on that story since it initially happened. No sight of the cards, the people, whatever, gone. Like they didn't even exist. I said back then, and I stand by it now, those cards are probably overseas somewhere. They were probably out of the country before that day ended. Before we dive into hobby news, shout out to channel partner ComC.com, sponsor of today's video and the weekly sports card market update. Your home for buying, selling of all things sports, non-sports cards. They are running a graded auction event at the end of the month. The deadline for that is upcoming. If you want to mail cards in, you got a few more days to do that. If you already have cards on your account, you got another couple weeks to do that. But I will be looking forward to potentially buying, see what pops up from September 30th to October 3rd. I have another shipment to go out to ComC very, very soon. I am putting the finishing touches on that. I moved through the last batch that I sent all in, has all been uploaded, and most of that stuff I have sold through, which is a reminder I need to go back in there and reprice some stuff now that I'm thinking about it. So if you're not using ComC, go check them out. First up on the news stuff, we got a lot of little odds and ends to talk about. We mentioned the Dallas show. Dallas show is this weekend. We have no news on the theft. However, one thing that changed, and I don't know that I necessarily blame the Dallas show for this, having them people sign this, but dealers had to sign a consent form basically saying that the Dallas Card Show itself is not responsible for anything regarding theft or loss of property for the dealers. Not super surprising about that. It's kind of up to the individual dealers. The Dallas Card Show does have a obligation that obviously provide security and clear the floor. I have not heard, I haven't talked to any dealers that have closed down the floor yet. But if anyone is out there did they do a better job at making people clear out of the floor? Is there a more secure state around the show itself? I'd be curious to see any tweaks that they made from the theft show to this one. I will say I did talk to some people that are both set up and roaming that said that it is a little bit slower this time around. So this is definitely a trend that we are seeing. The Dallas Card Show is running ever so lighter than normal. Shipshawana a couple weeks ago, it was running a little lighter than normal. I think, as I kind of talked about in that Fanatics event video from earlier this week, I think it is a little bit of the time of the year. High school football is back. College football is back. Professional football is back. That sucks up a lot of people's time. So all of a sudden you have less days, less times, less weekends to go do card shows. because real life gets in the way. And I think that that is definitely impacting shows. I think that's fairly normal for this time of year. So if Dallas ends up being slightly slower than normal, coming off of ships being slightly slower than normal, I'm not going to go into the panic room bunker and freak out or anything. I think it's just this is the time of year that it is. Now, if we roll around to the beginning of next year, in those February and March shows, which tend to perform pretty well, then I'll start to be a little bit concerned. If the attendance at the National drops way off, then I'll be concerned if all of a sudden the National is a light crowd. I don't necessarily see that happening yet, but time will tell on that one. Other things making news this week. My goodness, the Star Jordan. The 84 Star Jordan. Setting records all over the place. We had I think it was $1 million sale for a PSA 9 the other day with, I think, what is there, 3 copies of that in existence, I believe. Yeah, Pop 3 says right there in the article in front of me. There is all sorts of drama around this card between the community, collectors, the pump and dumpers, does someone actually still own it versus not own it. I'd be lying if I told you I spent hours of my life devoted to figuring out who owns Star Jordans and who is pumping Star Jordans. I did not. I'm just here to make you aware the Star Jordan exists. The prices for it are going to the moon and back again. Is something shady going on with that price increase? I honestly have no idea. The internet has probably already made up its mind one way or the other, saying that this is all perfectly fine, and the other half saying, oh my God, this is all tinfoil hat brigade, mount up, let's do our thing. In reality, it is probably somewhere between those two things. There is probably some increased interest in this card, and there is also probably some shenanigans going on with this card, as in most things in life. I will say a lot of Jordan stuff in general has been creeping back up again. I know myself personally, I only own 2 Jordan cards, I think, of any value. I own a random EX Century, and I own a Scoring Kings. My Scoring Kings, one of the few cards that I bought at the Chicago National, the last Chicago National, or right before that, actually, that year, 2022, is actually up quite a bit. I think it's almost, not quite doubled, but it's getting close. I think I paid like $650 for that card. It's a BGS 8.5, and it's well over or close to like $1,200 now is what I saw for the last sale. So Jordan stuff in general has been creeping up again. Now, I don't know if that has been because of the hype around the Star Jordan or not, or that was just naturally kind of happening, as we do seem to be in a bit of a 90s renaissance. 90s stuff in general across the board for Hall of Fame players, all the sports, does seem to have a lot of buzz around it right now. And it happened before Topps Chrome Basketball came out, but I do wonder if Topps Chrome Basketball coming back has kind of juiced the market for 90s stuff, as people are now going back and fondly looking at stuff from the 90s and thinking like, oh, it would be nice to kind of chase that. So 90s inserts, refractors, that sort of thing do seem to be on the move across the board as a whole. As to the Star Jordan, I could honestly care less. I have zero real interest in owning one. I don't even have much interest in owning an 86 Fleer. It's a perfectly fine card. There's just a billion of them out there. Maybe I would want to have one day, but it is not a priority issue by any means. But just be aware, when prices soar to the moon like this, we usually know how those stories tend to end. Speaking of massive sales, we talked about it, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, the Wilt Chamberlain SGC 10 rookie card that got turned up from, I think it was like a grocery store or something, graded in SGC 10. Now, I'll use air quotes here, sold privately for $1.7 million. I've never been a big fan of private sales. Show me the receipts, I guess, on this one. Does that number sound plausible? Sure, I guess. Listen, $1.7 million cards are not my neck of the woods. I never know how to judge this super high-end stuff. I'm just basically guessing and making up numbers like the rest of the internet because I don't have the type of money to even play in this market, let alone even think about playing in this market. My wife would kill me. Kill me. So is this a good deal? I have no idea. It's a nice looking copy. Do I think it's a 10? It's definitely a 9+ for sure. Is it a 10? I don't know. I didn't like the one edge, but it's still a great presenting copy. It looks absolutely stunning. And it is a monster number for one of the best players to ever touch a basketball. On the more modern side of things, the chase for the Topps triple auto has sent people mad. Topps made the decision to package the parallel card if you got one in a pack, which was genius because one, it allowed people to sell them on the secondary marketplace. Those packs are going for about $1,500 last I looked. I sadly got my package in the mail on Saturday right before I recorded this video, and I got all base cards. So rip me. This kid did not. Fresno, California pulled the 1 of 1 from the card. The auto still has not surfaced, and it might not surface for a while. I did not get this email because like I said, I got my pack. Mine was in the initial shipment. But to the best of anyone's knowledge, as of time of recording, the card has yet to surface. So we don't know where it is yet. Now, not saying that someone didn't get it. Someone could have got it and could be keeping it private. That very well could be the case. This could be one of those things that we just never know. But it looks like some orders got delayed to the end of September. We are now expected to or this order to ship no later than September 26th. That's a long time from now. That's 3 weeks, basically. So this whole quest for the 101 triple auto sounds like it's going to go on for quite a bit longer as this thing continues to remain in the wind. Or, like I said, maybe someone has it already and they are plotting their plan for how they want to move it on the secondary market behind the scenes. And honestly, if you pull it, that's probably one of the better ways to at least start the process. Don't run the Instagram first thing and post that you hit it. But yeah, could be upwards of September 26th. So hasn't been hit yet. If your order hasn't shipped, we'll see. We shall see. In other Topps news, Bowman Chrome. 2024 Bowman Chrome is up for drop on Fanatics. Doesn't seem to be a ton of hype around this product, I'm not going to lie. I think there's one prospect that a lot of people are excited for, and it doesn't even seem like it's like that much excitement around the prospect. I forget the kid's name off the top of my head. But Bowman Chrome does release this week. I will probably be passing on Bowman Chrome. I will save my funds for other future releases. In Panini news, I don't know. I guess I understand what they're doing here. They are introducing mystery rookie redemptions. It's going to be in a handful of products: Score, Luminance, Origins, Elite, and Gold Standard. And essentially, what if you pull one of these, you don't know who it's for, and they say in this post they don't know who it's for either. What rookies will be part of this new collection? We don't know yet! Explanation point. Essentially, what they're gonna do is save these for people that maybe kind of break out, that didn't make the initial checklist. That's the vibes that I get for it. So imagine some 7th round wide receiver blows up this year, or some second round NBA pick. I don't know if this is football only. Oh yeah, NFL season, so football only. Some 7th round wide receiver just goes absolute crazy on the league, or a running back or something, because most quarterbacks get a card pretty much regardless. But if they're not in that checklist, I guess this is a way for them to backdoor them in there. And these will be base cards in some cases, parallels in some cases. Seems strange to me. I get what they're going for here, but I don't know. This one just feels odd. Really curious for your thoughts on this one, because I don't know that I'm feeling this. This just feels like them having a way to backdoor a rookie card into a set that was not initially there, that they get to kind of make up on the fly. I'd be curious, like, from Victor, the rookie card specialist standpoint, like, what does this do? Does this qualify as a rookie card since it's not on the checklist? I forget the rules, so please forgive me, Victor. Don't scold me too hard. But I don't know. This one, I don't know how I feel about this one. It's cool on paper, but I don't know. What if no one really pops off? Are you just going to get like some random running back that had like one game with 75 yards in it that like won someone a fantasy GPP because they just happened to click the wrong name? I don't know. Weird one here out of Panini, in my opinion. That is all I got for news. Let's transition over to some charts and graphs. That's right, charts and graphs, folks. Powered by Market Movers. Link in the description down below if you want a free trial. And also, you could get 20% off for life. First up, the 2 hottest products in all the land. Well, one of them is starting to cool a little bit. Topps Chrome Basketball and Topps Composite Football. I actually had Topps Composite Football Blasters delivered to the house just this afternoon. I have not opened those yet. I will record that video later. So we'll see what the Blasters look like sometime this week. Basketball product has slowed a little. You could see box prices are down to about $500, and that chart is kind of heading in the downward trend slightly. But prices did not tank on it like some people thought that they would after the superfractor was hit. They have slowed a little bit, but they have not gone to zero like the internet said that it was going to. Will they slip under $500 a box? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know that for sure. I could see it maybe getting down to, $450 or something, maybe even lower. It's tricky to say because with wax, the more that people rip it, the lower the supply is constantly getting for it. Topps Composite Football was the winner of the week. It has climbed quite a bit over the last week, basically, since release. Myself personally, and listen, let me just say, because the comment section got mad in my Topps Composite video. I don't really like either one of these products. They're unlicensed. I'm not a fan of unlicensed. There's limited upside in both, though there's probably more upside in the football product because the checklist is better. I think composite football, actually, I don't think. In my opinion, composite football is a better product than Topps Chrome Basketball. That does not mean that I am in love with Topps Composite Football and I'm going to run out and rip cases of it. I think people fail to see the distinction there. These are 2 meh products at best. Topps Composite Football is a much better product than Topps Chrome Basketball, in my opinion. It's a much better rip experience. The cards look better. The design is better. And there's more things to chase. That being said, you wouldn't catch me dead paying $433 for a hobby box of this stuff. The blasters I got for retail on the Fanatics drop. I just wanted to see what they were all about, how the retail version of this product compared. So like I said, we'll open a few of those up and see what that's all about. Single prices for the Wemby. The base is currently sitting at about $35, and the refractor is down to $225. Both those are about 60% drops from release pricing. I still don't believe those have hit their floor and probably have room to continue to go down. I don't know where they end up getting at. I would not be shocked if the base ends up under $20 at some point in time, and the refractor ends up under 175, maybe even lower. Now, part of that will get a little tricky depending on how long this goes, because the season will start, and if Wemby comes out playing like a madman, it could juice things back up slightly. And the other thing too is we should start to probably see graded supply hit the market here in the next week or two, at least of the mid stuff. The high end stuff, we'll be seeing it back probably this week or early next week for autos and things, because they have to be sent at a higher tier service. So we'll start to see some grading returns back on this stuff. But the refractors, the base, people are going to send that on value services, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get those things back. And we'll see how those PSA 10s stack up against their Prism, Optics, Select, etc. counterparts. I still think the autos are the way to go here. I still personally prefer the Bowman auto versus the Topps Chrome auto. That's just like my opinion, man. People, I can easily see someone making the argument the other way, and I wouldn't fight you to the death on it, because I think it is actually pretty close. I just prefer the Bowman because of the scarcity on it. Talk a little football. Overreaction theater at its finest, and this will not be the last. We had 2 primetime games: the Chiefs and the Ravens, the Packers and the Eagles. Both Packers-Eagles was a little rocky of a start, but ended up finishing strong. Both games overall very, very good, especially Ravens-Chiefs. And we are already seeing crazy price movements based off that game. Xavier Worthy, one of the breakout stars from the Chiefs game. This is his first Bowman 2021. This sold in late August, just about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. $60 on bids, just a raw refractor auto. Actually, that's just, refractor auto. The base and the refractor are basically the same on this year. $60. He had a great night Friday night. Looked fantastic. People are calling it Tyreek Hill 2.0. In fact, they even put that in this description. What does the same card sell for after Friday? People are bidding them for $200. That's right. This was $198, and someone smacked the bin on it. So that is quite the jump up in just about 2 weeks. And the funny thing here is one, it's college uniform product. It's also a position player, which people always say you can't make money on position players. So a lot of fun, interesting angles on this bad boy for all the various aspects of it. But this just goes to show you what happens when you have limited supply of a player's cards and they do well. There is not a lot out there, so people gravitate to what is available. So if you are good about super prospecting college football on these first autos, you could probably actually do pretty well on this stuff, because his stuff was dirt cheap prior to going to the Chiefs. It got a bump up when he went to the Chiefs, and now it got even a larger bump based off of a 1-game sample size. So if you load up on these guys and you hit it right, if you have an edge information-wise, this to me is probably one of the better angles in regards to, you want to try to buy cards low and sell them high in this modern 2024 age. It's stuff like this. Now, that's not my forte. I am not a huge college football guy, so this is just really not my thing, but I could see someone doing quite well with this sort of stuff. And that's not the only position player we have to talk about. Jaden Reed was the other big winner, and we're not even really seeing the full scope here because that game was just last night from when I am recording this video. He does have 2023 rookies. This is just a silver prism. There are actually some PSA 10s out there, surprisingly enough. Up 100, basically 100% plus in the last week. His raw silvers were doing about $4 a couple of weeks ago. They are now up to almost $12, and the silver prism was going for about $35. There were a few sales higher than that leading up to the game into the mid 50s, but now it is all the way up to $72, and I would not be surprised if it goes a little bit higher than that. Like I said, with the game being last night, it'll usually market movers lags behind a day. So there will probably be a bunch of sales today that it has not captured quite yet. But Jaden Reed getting a lot of buzz coming off of the Packers' first game. Now, will that be stunted? Because in that game, Jordan Love got hurt. News came out right before I started recording this. MCL sprain, out 3 to 4 weeks. So that's about as lucky as you could possibly get, all things considered. That could have been way, way worse, but we will not see him until sometime in mid-October. That will hurt his potential for his wide receivers, as Malik Willis is their backup quarterback. Yikes. Maybe they try to sign someone. I don't know. But that's going to be a rough look. But Love stuff is not cheap. Love, ladies and gentlemen, is expensive. His Contenders rookie ticket, PSA 10, goes for over $2K. His Silver Prism goes for over $1,000. And his Opticalo goes for $250. So not small amounts on any of those cards. We'll see how pricing goes over the next few weeks and what he looks like when he comes back. But this is just a healthy reminder on the second game of the season that once football season starts, it's the Wild West out there, and you never know what is going to happen with these guys. You are one play away from everything going sideways, more so in the NFL than any other sport out there. Let's take a quick look at some baseball stuff. Francisco Lindor having an amazing season, getting some heat for MVP. Nobody cares on his cards. I shouldn't say nobody. His stuff's finally starting to see some love. But his first Bowman, BGS 9.5, just because of the era of this card in 2011, they transact way more in that. Sitting at $275, and most of that is fairly recently. You can see this card basically all season long, $200. Here's one for $160. We have another one there for $170. A couple that dipped down. $175, $180. There's one for $200. There's another one for $200. Another one for $200. And then finally, just the last week or so, it popped up to $275. This PSA 10, the last sale is $330. One has not sold in about 2-3 weeks. So I don't know what that would line up like. But I would have to imagine it'd probably be, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500-ish, given the bounce up that this took, probably closer to 5 or 6 maybe. Regardless, not a ton of money when you look at what some of the baseball prospects sell for that have done absolutely nothing. Lindor is literally having an MVP caliber season, and his first Bowman in a BGS 9.5 can't even clear $300. On the opposite side of the fence, Shohei Otani on the quest for 50-50 and in the lead for the NL MVP. His stuff has basically stayed flat. This is some of his popular refractors. I didn't want to go super high end. I wanted to stick with stuff that normal people could afford. I have his PSA 10 refractor, the pink refractor, the prism refractor, and the 2018 pink rookie debut batting image. These are going back 180 days, which takes us to early March. And what do we see? Basically no changes, or really ever so slightly down, but not by much. Basically down 10% across the board, give or take a few percentage points here or there on that. But that is absolutely wild when you think about that. Let that sink in. Otani is the leader in the clubhouse for an MVP in September, is on track or on pace to potentially get and have a 50-50 season. And his card prices are down slightly. Wild stuff. I was curious. What does Aaron Judge's cards look like for the same style of cards? So I have his base Prism Refractor, or his Topps Chrome Prism Refractor, his just baseline Refractor, and the pink Refractor. This is a little bit of a different story. His stuff has gone up considerably over the last 180 days. 40%, 115%, and 40% on those three refractors for Judge. And really what it comes down to is Otani has a ton of stuff baked in already. He had a ton of hype from going to the Dodgers. Judge, amazing player, has had great seasons in the past, did not have as much heat on him as Otani did during the offseason, so he actually has room to go up. Otani had a ton of heat with the Dodger transition. I think it helped keep his prices high all off season, and that carried into the season itself. Thus, he's had to go 50-50 just to maintain his current pricing. Whereas Judge, also having an MVP caliber year, also having an amazing season, smashing the baseball, does see a significant increase in prices. There's also less competition for Judge's cards. And what do I mean by that? Just straight supply. 2017 was a different world than Otani's 2018. I know it's only 1 year different, but the print runs were a little bit smaller. You could see his base refractor has 1,000 on the population report. Otani's has 1,500, almost 1,600. So significant more supply out there as well. That is all I have for you, boys and girls, today. Enjoy football. I will probably start posting the weekly sports card market update a little bit earlier on Sunday mornings. One thing that I always remember, once football season rolls around, right around 1 o'clock, the viewership tanks on Sunday videos. So I will probably make an effort to try to get these uploaded and scheduled a little bit earlier in the morning to give you all more time to watch before the games begin. Enjoy week 1. Good luck with your fantasy teams. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.